Hi friends, we are going to check a new topic today, that is how to calculate the cost of equity capital. Friends, in the previous lectures we have seen how to calculate the cost of debt. Then we have seen how to calculate the cost of preference capital. Now we are going to find out how to calculate the cost of equity capital. So friends, cost of equity or the ordinary shares, as I have told you, is represented by the symbol KE. Okay. Now if you remember, in the previous lectures we have seen, if we are going to calculate the cost of debt, we take into account the interest rates. If you please try to relate that, we try to discount the interest that we are going to pay in future and try to equate with the present inflow and find out what is the cost of debt. If you want to calculate the cost of preference capital, we take into account the dividend. Okay, but friends, this preference capital have a fixed percentage, say for example 14%, whereas debenture may have 10%. So this interest or the dividend rate is mentioned or fixed, we know it. But as you know, the feature of equity capital is that there is no fixed percentage laid anywhere. Equity shareholders will get the dividend only when there is a surplus after paying off the borrowed capital and the preference capital. Now how can we then determine the cost of equity capital? Cost of equity capital is determined based on the expected dividend that it is supposed to receive in the years. As you know, equity capital is always perpetual. It will last as long as the company is there, this capital is there. But at the there is no question of redemption. Now how to calculate this cost of equity capital KE? Now two things you have to remember, that you are going to have an expected dividend of the particular share. So for equity capital there is an expected dividend, keep this in mind. Also you try to remember that there is a growth that happens with the dividend. It's not that we always we just get a dividend fixed rate all the time, but we have if the companies have the policy to have a growth in the dividend. Why? Because if there is no growth in the dividend, then the shareholders' wealth is not maximized, their market price of the share is not going to appreciate. So that's why we have to find out that there is a growth factor also, right? So friends, what is the cost of equity capital is same as what we have done previously. Cost of equity capital is nothing but we can say cost, we have to equate two things, just as we have done in the cost of debt and cost of preference capital. We have a cash outflow. What is our cash outflow? We will see here cash inflow in the period 0. And then we have some cash outflows. The equity shareholders will be paid some dividend. Okay, so there will be cash outflow in the form of dividend, CO in the form of dividend. Okay, better to write the dividend here. We write here dividend D1. Okay, and this has to be discounted by 1 plus KE to the power, if it is first year, it is first, plus we are going to give them some more dividend in the second year, 1 plus KE to the power 2, plus this way we are going to give them DN divided by 1 plus KE to the power N. Okay. Now it is also true that this dividend will grow with some factor, because this dividend will not be the constant factor as it happens in case of interest 100 or preference capital 14. But in this case the dividend is going to grow. Okay, so if I have to simplify this equation, I can write this cash inflow at period 0 is equal to the sum of all the dividends. Okay, say for dividend is DI 1 plus G to the power T divided by 1 plus KE to the power. Okay, one thing you have to write here, 1 plus G to the power T minus 1, because first year's dividend is dividend only, because first year is D0 only. From the second year the growth will take place, right? So first year no dividend, but it will be paid only after the first end of the first year, then second year. Okay, so t minus 1, and here it will be t. Okay, so sum of all the, so I is equals to, this I is from 1 to t. Okay, so all the dividends will be added here in order to know get the two sides equal. But one thing friends, this CI means cash inflow. What is cash inflow actually? The expected price of the dividend P0, but we have to minus the flotation charge. 1 minus F is the flotation cost, is equals to this thing, sum is equals to I is equals to 1 to T. What we are doing is that we are trying to sum all the dividends. Okay, and this dividends has to be adjusted with its respective growth rate, and then we are trying to get this equation. Now our objective is to solve this equation so that we get KE, and that is our cost of equity. Okay friends, now one thing I would like to say that if you simplify this equation, you can still simplify this equation, and we are concerned about to know what is the ultimate solution to this equation. The ultimate solution to the equation is P0 is equals to D divided by KE minus G. This is the price, expected price of the equity share. This P0 will be D divided by KE minus G. So I can find out what is KE. So KE is equals to, if you simplify this equation, okay friends, if you are simplifying this equation 1, you get P0 is equals to D divided by KE minus G, DI you can write. And what is KE? KE is equals to DI divided by P0 plus G. So this is the cost of equity. Okay, so what is KE? KE is equals to DI, that is the expected dividend, divided by P0 plus the growth rate. Now friends, we can take up a sum, but before taking up the sum, we have to understand what is the growth rate. Okay, so company will have a growth in the dividend, and this growth rate is represented by G. Remember, G is equals to B into R. B is what and R is what? We have to understand. So B is the retention ratio or retention rate, whereas R is the rate of return. Because we have to find out G sometimes, so G is the retention ratio or rate, and R is the rate of return. So first we have to understand what is the retention rate B. B is equals to, friends, when you have the earnings of the company, and from there when you minus the dividend, then whatever is left is your retention, as you understand. That means if the company has earned something, and out of that if the dividend is paid, then whatever is remain is the retention of earnings in the company. So if you have to make it a bit technical, I will say how much is the earnings per share, how much the share is earning, per share is earning, and minus dividend per share, DPS. Okay, and since this EPS minus DPS, and then since it is a ratio, I will divide it by earnings per share. Okay, so B is equals to EPS minus DPS, means dividend per share, divided by EPS. Again friends, please try to understand, this dividend is subject to tax. Okay, so since it is subject to tax, so I will write 1 plus T, 1 plus dividend tax. So ultimately what you are getting here is 1 plus T. Okay, this is the dividend tax. So friends, this is your B. I repeat again, what is B? B is the retention. How much is the earnings retained in the business? And how much is the earnings retained in the business? Earnings minus dividend. How much you have earned, how much you have distributed as dividend. The balance is retention. And you divide, since it is a ratio, so you have to divide with EPS. So you get what is B. Now what is R? R means rate of return. Rate of return is very easy. It is EPS divided by P0, the price of the share, expected price of the share. So friends, if B is this and R is this, if you multiply these two, then EPS will cancel. So ultimately what is your G? G is equals to EPS minus DPS times 1 plus T divided by P0. So this is your G, or other words, growth of dividend in a company. Okay. So friends, I am here with two different problems so that we understand how to compute the cost of equity. You can say that an ordinary share of a company is selling at rupees 50. Okay. So P0 is known as 50. The EPS is 0.70 and of which 60% is paid in dividends. Okay. The company reinvests retained earnings at the rate of 10%. Forget everything and let's write the formula first. What is the formula of KE? KE is equals to D1 divided by P0 plus G. This is the formula. Now what is our D1? D1 means the dividend, right? So what is our dividend? EPS is 7, of which 60% is paid in dividend. That means 60% of 7.50 is our dividend. Divided by what is our P0? Rupees 50. Plus, you know G is having two parts, B and R. B is how much is retained and R is the rate of return. Okay. Now coming retained. How much is retained in the business? Of which 60% is paid in the dividend and the company reinvests retained earnings at the rate of 10%. So our rate of return on investment is 10%, 0.10. And what is our retain? If 60% is paid, so 40% is retained. So I will write 0.40. I hope this part is clear. G is equals to B into R. B is how much is retained. So percentage retained is 40%. And R means how much do we earn from the investment. That means the company receives retained earnings reinvest retained earnings at the rate of 10%. So whatever is retained, if you invest, so it gets 10%. So we get 0.10, right? So we'll find out 0.60 into 7.5 divided by 50 plus 0.40 into 0.10. Let's simplify and see how much it is coming. So friends, I have done the calculation, 0.60 into 7.50, and then these things are simplified and we get 0.13, which is equals to 13%. So the cost of equity in this case is 13%. Right friends? Now coming to the next one, that is an ordinary share is selling at rupees 120 and paying dividend of rupees 9 per share, which is expected to grow at 8%. So we have to find KE. Okay, so we have to find KE. So let's write the formula of KE is equals to D1 divided by P0 plus G. What is our D1? D1 means that is dividend is paying, currently selling at 120. Selling at 120 means P0 and the dividend is 9 and it expected to grow at 0.08. So 0.08%. So if you simplify, you will get what is the cost of equity, which comes to 15.5%. Okay friends, so this is all about how we calculate the cost of equity, but here we have assumed that there is a growth in dividend, but this growth is constant. Okay friends, so we have known that 1 plus G is the growth rate, but we are assuming that the growth rate is constant. But if the growth rate is not constant, how we will tackle or how we will calculate the cost of equity, let us see. So friends, let's move on and see how we can accommodate a variable growth rate. All this time we are discussing the constant growth rate. The dividend will grow at a constant rate. Though these two sums are not addressing that, but the model that I have showed is how dividend, if the dividend is growing at a constant rate. Now let's check if the dividend is going at a varying rate. So friends, we'll take up the case of a rate of growth in the dividend which is not the same all the time. So initially what happens if the company is in existence, in the initial period the growth rate is quite high, but at the later years the growth rate is low. For example, any project, initially it will give you a very high growth rate, but later on it will give you a growth rate which is lower. Okay, so a company's growth rate out of an investment, out of a project, is expected to be high in the initial years and then it is going to be low in the later years. This is a case of varying growth rate. It's not the same. So low means it's not low, it is constant. Say it is constant and it is very high up to this point of time. So suppose it is 16%, so after that it becomes 8%. So we have got two growth rates to be accommodated when we calculate the cost of equity. In the initial years the growth is high, but later on there is a constant growth rate, okay? 8% constant growth rate. Okay friends, so this 6% means the year 1 could be 20%, then it is 18%. So this way this is varying growth rate, but later on it is a constant growth rate of 8% experienced. Okay. Now friends, if you have to calculate the cost of equity, then how you will calculate? So let's find out the left hand side and right hand side. In the left hand side you have P0, okay, and 1 minus F. This is your left hand side, and in the right hand side you are going to take sum of all the cash inflows till this point. Sum of all the cash inflows at this point where the growth rate is quite high. So how you will do this? You are going to take the D, that is the dividend. I will take it as capital D. Okay, so this is D divided by 1 plus KE into 1 plus, I'll just write it here, D, 1 plus, this is D0, 1 plus G, this is high growth rate, to the power, you can write to the power, you can write here T, the TH period, okay, 1 plus KE to the power T. And what is T? T is equals to 1, T is equals to 1 till n, say till the period, this is our period n, okay. But friends, you have to remember this will be T minus 1, okay, because from the year end of first year we are experiencing this dividend and growth. Plus we have come up to this point. What we have done, all the dividends we have added together, okay, and then we have discounted with 1 plus KE to the power T, and likewise we have gone to nth number of year, n number of years. This is the nth year. Thereafter the dividend will grow at a constant rate. So I will write here T is equals to, now it will not be the first year, it will start from the nth year, n to the power infinity, because the company is perpetual, it will go on giving you the things. So D, perpetual means till the time the project is over or till the very survival. So D, now D, this will be which year's D? This will be D nth year. 1 plus GC means constant growth rate to the power, what will you write? T minus 1, so you can write T minus 1 divided by 1 plus KE to the power T. So what we are doing, this shows that till this much time, what is the dividend? The difference is that this will be with high growth dividend, and this one will be the sum of all the dividends which is coming at a constant growth rate. Okay friends, so this is how we do for a multiple growth rate model. So friends, this is the sum. You can see what is written here. The current dividend is rupees 2 per share and the current market price is 75, right? And the growth rate in dividend is different. For the first 5 years it is 15%, 6 to 10 years it is 10%, and 11 years onwards it is 5%. So you have got 3 different growth rate here. So we'll have a multiple growth rate model. So you can see for these years, this is the model. T is equals to 1 to 5, D0 times the growth rate, it is 15%, so 1.15 to the power T, 1 plus KE to the power T, plus, friends, here what is happening is, you are starting from the 6th year going till 10th year, and you are growing the dividend on the 5th year's dividend by this, and the first 5 years is gone, so 1 plus KE to the power T. Last one is this 5%. See, here it is 10%, and the last one is 5%. So here it will be 11th years to infinity because it's given above. So D10th, the growth is this much. 10 years gone, t minus 10, okay, after 10 years, and 1 plus k to the power t. Now how you will calculate ke? This is the model. Now from this we have to calculate ke. So you can see all the dividends from first year to 10th year I have written. Now I would look for a rate at which I find that right hand side will be equal to 75, that is left hand side. I will start with 12% as trial and error method. This is the factor, as you can check in the table also. When I multiply these two, I get this, and I get 21.64. This is for the 10 years. Whereas from 11 years and above, our equation was D11 by KE minus G. So we got this value, but KE was not known, so we are trying with 12%. We will put 12% here. So the answer comes to 97.18, and then we will multiply with the present value factor, that is 0.3220, just like we calculated for 12%. So we will calculate this, and then we get, this is see 10th year, it is 0.3220, we get 31.28, right? So when I add these two, this total present value at 12%, I get this plus this, we get 52.98, which is too low. 75 was the price, but we got right hand side 52.98. That means we have discounted it at a very high rate. 12% is very high. We have to try the same thing with 10% then. So when we try with 10%, we get 75.01. You may try it yourself. It's better you try it, give your own hand to it, and that is actually the cost of capital, that is KE is equals to 10%. So friends, this is how my idea is to give you the concept exactly. So the concept is that when you have to calculate the cost of capital, there are three different sources, and from each of the three different sources you have different distinct characteristics, and depending on their characteristics you have to calculate their respective costs. So friends, that's all for this video, or we will meet again with our next discussion on the overall cost of capital. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.